In Tom's Wind Power, the way he's handled it really is a sepia tone. It kind of adds this nice historic process that we kind of feel just by looking at it. It takes us to not only a different place, but a different time because of the way it's been handled. Compositionally feels a little top heavy. I'll probably lose a little sky. Heather Neal, The River. It's a wonderful moment caught. We have this very kind of evocative, mood-driven image. I feel like the highlights of the sky and the shadows of the land could be captured a little bit more. We're kind of losing some detail, but the passion's there. I love it. Warren's piece here of Western Australia is really about the light. It is just about those golden strokes coming across the width of the image. And then there's this brilliant blue at the top, kind of framed out by clouds. It's that kind of well-placed tree on the left and the road in the foreground. With Brian's picture, Dawn at Bosque, we also have another very powerful, passionate red sky. And that, of course, is gorgeous. And I love the silhouetted forms of the birds in the foreground. But unfortunately, the trees are picking off the top there, really grab your attention in a way that's not very satisfying. Laura has a way of working that creates like a minimalist approach as to what needs to be left to still have it feel like a landscape. We still get a size and a sense of scale with this image because that one lonely tree, but that nice big broad section of sky is really nice. With this image, the lines, really it's the shadows that are the most important piece with this. There's really dynamic S-curve kind of starting at the bottom right and sweeping across the midsection of the photograph and reaching back to that background. Really foreground, middle ground, background relationship is kind of expertly used. And with his other dune that we have by Steve is a very compressed landscape. There is no foreground, there is no background, there really is only middle ground. And it's just this compression of shapes, a very graphic, two-dimensional design. It's very different from that last image, but very compelling all the same. With Bill Speaks' Coal Mine Canyon, the interesting thing here is the fantastic moment in time captured with that lightning strike and that flash up in the clouds. The sky is just profound and amazing. The HDR really kind of brought in a lot of shadow detail for a really beautiful effect in that foreground and all throughout the entire image. In Bill's picture of Garden of the Gods, it's the color that is just fantastic in this image. An otherwise monochromatic landscape with this gorgeous red jutting out of it, kind of reaching for that blue. And of any of the compositional devices, the color is the one that really kicks it. Another Bill Speaks lightning strike, very aptly caught, very beautiful time of catching that. And the light comes shimmering across with this beautiful atmospheric perspective cutting through the center of the image. The colors could probably be a little bit more punched. It feels a little bit pulled down, but otherwise very beautiful. In the same vein of sort of working with this land and man kind of conquest series, we have Ron's picture here, and it's an otherwise beautiful landscape with just these kind of electric lines thrown through the center. And it's that juxtaposition, that dichotomy of beautiful land and kind of ugly man that kind of makes it work. The processing of this image, the way it's been handled is really interesting, and it creates a very great sense of place. We have this old time, you can hear the waterfall in the background. It really kind of evokes a mood of a different century with that image. I love how it's been handled. Again, another image by Leroy, and I love with this one. I think the interest really lies in how something so small can remarkably look so big, and it really has how these tiny little plants end up looking like huge trees. Part of that from the sky in the background, the selective focus, all of that combines. It's interesting with Peter's image of Desert Monument. It has the sensibility of like a Holga or some other plastic cameras, but it just kind of shows the creativity you can use with the digital imagery that we have available to us. You can kind of do and create any kind of mood or evoke any kind of emotions that you want just based on your creative necessity. Peter's image of Victoria Falls has a really amazing framing about it. We're looking through the steam to get to that rushing water. We're looking through this kind of glowing cloud at the top. And the way these forms of the cliffs on the left-hand side really mimic the shapes of the water in the central part of the image. It's really beautiful composition. With Eric's Prairie Chapel, we feel that the main compositional tool is the chapel itself, but really it's these big, bold fields of blue and that field of gold at the bottom. The chapel is just a blip on the map of the composition. Really, this is a photograph about color and space, and that it does very well. Here we have Peter's image of Kenosha Pass in bloom, and I just love this time of year. There's one thing, it's a beautiful photograph, and I do enjoy the composition, but I feel the focal point is a little bit lost, and I'm kind of looking towards those rocks and the yellow. Just be very careful of that.